One of my lights on. Give me 2 seconds. I gotta hit a button. Boom. There we go. That should make the lighting more even. I don't know, maybe it's too bright. It does kind of ruin the color thing. Oh well. I've been using it for a while, so it might just be that the camera needs to be adjusted again. Anyway, there's this thing. I wanted to listen to this.
Like for me, when I look at our our biggest buckets of negative sentiment, like this is like network performance and product stability. Like this is really where we need to make the biggest changes. And that's not to say we haven't been doing this stuff consistently to try to fix it. Like we've been trying to fix issues like rubber banding.
This is this was back in another one of the main streams that they did.
We've released hundreds of fixes for these things for bugs, but it's just not hitting those things the right way, in my opinion. And I'm unhappy with that.
So basically, the premise is he's talking about networking, and this guy's got a good point here. He's hopefully some real changes, in season 5, and I agree. I just wanted to put that on there real quick at the beginning before I turn on our music. But yeah, that I really hope we end up with some solid, changes there. Anyway, I'm Will Forge, and today we will forge, as I said. As all other days. I was in the middle of well, I wasn't in the middle of making this today, but this is sort of so far my block out for one of my campaign missions. I thought I wanted to show off today. It's not really finished yet, and there are things like this where I was debating using one of these, but then I decided that this was one I was making where I was sort of rebuilding it to better suit my needs. Something is missing. There should be another one of those over there. Anyway, the point is that I was in the process of doing that, and then I figured, yeah, I'm gonna put that on pause because they might actually have a downed pelican soon. I'm partially awake, but I made it. Oh, nice. Good. I was just, this is Aaron. This is the campaign mission that I've been working on. It's very, very basic, and I'm just getting a block out right now. But basically, it is the beginning of the campaign. It's going to start off, technically I've got it listed as mission 2, and I think it's going to be mission 2 because the other one is going to be different. But this one is basically going to be the top of a skyscraper in New Mombasa. That thing jumps away. I'm just using some pre-created ones that are on the shared drive, and I probably will continue to use them unless there's some kind of better version later before I release. I haven't edited anything. It's just green for some reason straight off the drive, off the the community. So I need to do some color swaps for that one. Seems your wife getting a new CEO soon. Oh, really? At Sony? That's cool. I didn't know there's a new CEO at Sony, or there's going to be. That's pretty dope. But yeah. Not like because the elk guy needed to go, but just because, he's probably moving on to better things, I'm sure, right? And he's getting an upgrade and someone else is coming in, right? I have no idea. I don't keep track of the news on that. But anyway, yeah. So this is not going to be here, by the way. This is something that someone made, and I found it on the shared drive, and I was like, I'm going to use this as an elevator, as a flavor elevator thing somewhere. It can't move. I can't script it to move because it's not to scale. But it's cool, so I'm going to put it out on the side of the building like it's an elevator. Jim Ryan had a skill issue. Did he? I had no idea. So like, just to imply an elevator, maybe have an elevator shaft you can go up and down using grav lift or something. I mean, yeah, not grav lift, a grapple shot. But anyway, yeah, so this is going to be, basically the idea is there's going to be a crashed pelican in here. You're going to start in here. Well, you're not going to start in here. You're going to actually start the sort of the cut scene, so to speak, on YouTube is going to start up here, describing before they crash. It's going to go into them crashing. It's going to talk about them going into the building, how Covenant are moving in to the area. It's going to eventually end the sort of cinematic here. You're going to start here with the orders to move back out to the drop ship to get to help get more equipment. You're going to come out here to get a crate. That's whenever the Covenant actually hit. There's going to be people coming in. There's going to be Covenant attacking from over here. I'm really hoping to be that, with Campaign AI, we'll have banished ships. Hopefully we can make them a different color, so I can just make it a Covenant color, even if it looks like a banished, drop ship. But in the meantime, I've got these things just sort of standing in. He said he's retiring, but we all know that's a load of shite. Oh, yeah? What did he do that was so bad, or was he just generally bad over time? Just like mediocre or something? yeah, so anyway, up here you're going to be able to see back into the garden area. Anyway, and then that's whenever you're going to make your way down, because there are more Covenant coming up the building from the street level, and there's going to be stuff going on down here that I haven't actually blocked out. So this is just like the premise, the overview of this campaign map that's going to be the first mission for the ODST character. The second mission in the campaign that I'm making. But anyway, I don't think I changed anything, but I moved that thing in there, so I don't really need to save that. But anyway, yeah, so we're gonna go to another map that I'm actually gonna work on stream, because that one I kind of want to do mostly off stream, so that it's less spoilery, you know. And we're gonna move back over to some of my multiplayer maps, which you can't really get spoiled on those. All you can really do is get more familiar with them, so you have a slight edge whenever you get into the actual game. So what I also noticed though is that custom map, someone came on Twitter and pointed out that my beautifully functional Bear Trap, you know, rain script and everything like that, it doesn't move the effects of the rain, because it doesn't do that in custom games. It only does that in Forge. Failed to block Activision for a start. Oh, how is that his problem? He's not the lawyers. What? He wasn't the lawyer. I mean, he didn't like outbid Microsoft, I guess. Maybe that's what that is. But like, that goes through in 2 weeks, by the way. Oh, cool. So this is just the OCOM camera. This is not a final camera in the slightest. But how is that his fault? So the object moves, but you'll see in a second what's going on. So my water, like the sprinkler is moving, but the rain doesn't move with it because it's their effects. And apparently effects can't move, which is lame. Hey Ashton, how's it going? You got me tabbed? Cool. I'm gonna refresh, because actually Kick is not showing me correct information. Yeah, I thought so. I thought it was definitely not showing me correct information on viewer count. Okay, so that thing is moving across basically perfectly, and the beams don't really... Well, why is that one not rendering? What the heck? Why is that effect not rendering? If I get closer, will it start? I have no idea what's going on. Oh my gosh. Because Sony wanted to block the acquisition, and this is now a skill issue. I don't know if that's his skill that failed, but what is going on with this beam? Maybe I have too many effects on the map? Hope they cancel all their games as a service plans now and go back to single player focus. That might be good. I really don't. One thing that I kind of get bored of with Sony in particular games is that they've started to they all rehash their the same kind of okay, I must have too many effects, because one of them isn't loading in over here either. That's weird. Is that they reuse game mechanics so much that like you'll just get into a sequence and like, I've done this in Spider-Man and in Uncharted and in, you know, God of War and in, you know what I mean? Like, it'll be a list of like every single game they make has all of the same game mechanics that they decide to throw into all of them for some reason. So I don't know. Okay, so I'm assuming that my my dynamic objects, or I mean my like effects objects budget has been exceeded, and I might need to, like, for example, get rid of the lightning bolt or tone down how I do these beams. They'll vanish if I don't do them the way I have them right now. So what I'm thinking is that'll actually like remove some of the beams on that side. Maybe that will be what makes it look more broken over there. Like I could put some sparks, some electricity, but then make the tower like cracked and broken, you know what I mean? And make it look like the beam is not being sustained anymore because the middle failed. So then I could even potentially put a ball at the end of each side, but that's not a big deal. I don't even know if I need to do that. Like I probably won't even do that and just do no energy. Hope they cancel all their games as service plans now and go back to single player focus. Yeah, I mean God of War was doing great, and it's a single player focus. Like I am a little annoyed about the gameplay thing being repetitive. Like Spider-Man does the same thing, and then, you know what I mean? Oh man, that is not good for a game. But yeah, I have no idea though if that's actually going to be a thing, you know. Let's see, Forge, map, Bear Trap. Okay, let's go look at it real quick. But that's cool. That they're moving things around. That's always weird and strange, but it's, I guess, kind of cool. hopefully it's hopefully Sony does even better after that, because they're doing really well. I don't know why they thought, like, I understand that this is a huge win for Microsoft, but a win for Microsoft doesn't necessarily mean a loss for Sony, because Sony is in the game of making they're totally different games. Like, the way that they make their games are completely different. They're like I mean, their single player action games, like you were saying, are amazing. Like Spider-Man is one of the best games ever. God of War is one of the best games ever. It's one of the reasons why they nearly got the Game of the Year. But yeah. Okay, so I don't know what to do about these effects. Basically, each of these beams is actually 4 effects, because I have to do the beam. I can't just like sustain one beam across, because if you look over here for a beam that's over there, the whole thing disappears. And the same thing happens if you look over there if it's over here. So if I put one there and one there, that would be a solution, except for if you look in the middle, they suddenly all they both disappear because they're not on the screen. So yeah, by the way, I'm on YouTube because I'm on my phone and I turn the screen off when I'm in bed so I can drop off. Cool, yeah, that makes sense. Let's see. Okay. So then another possibility is that because I'm trying to script these effects to move, it's causing a problem. But that's the other thing is, the other solution is, this is the other crazy, ridiculous, stupid solution for not being able to animate these, is to put them like this, and periodically have one of them turn off and then the other one turn on. And just keep doing that all the way across, right? In a pattern. That's going to eat up a ton of my map's budget, and it's going to, you know, basically not do so well. So I'm looking at this and I'm wondering if it's going to be something that's going to be something I have to scrap. Sorry, my computer is making an annoying noise. A little squeaking in the fan. I need to buy a new one. They're like $10. They're not expensive. But anyway. So I've been trying to brainstorm a solution to this, and I think the solution is either going to have to turn out to be a different method. Instead of maybe moving across, I can make some like more locked in place ones and have the rain below them. Like maybe have them be on the towers and like between these two towers and between these two towers like this one is, and just sort of make them static hanging in the air. But I don't know, it feels really lame compared to what I was gonna do. But then that would basically at least have my rain would be more, you know, rock solid, you know, more definitive. Gosh, it's so lame whenever you make something really cool in Forge thinking it's working and you test it and everything like that, and then you go into custom games and for some reason it doesn't function in custom games, but it does function in Forge. That's extremely frustrating, and I really hope that they figure out how to solve that, because that's the most frustrating thing in Forge right now, in my opinion. I honestly don't think anything else is as frustrating as it works in Forge but doesn't in custom game, you know? At all. Like even lack of campaign AI is less frustrating than that to me, because you'll work on something for days and then find this kind of situation come up. And then of course, like my effects budget, they warned me, of course. Let me go see what my effects budget is. It's huge probably. Wait, effects count is only 138? I've gotten to like 600 before without it disappearing. Why is it vanishing at 138? I know they've made changes to how it counts things like this, I believe, which meant stability was better and stuff like that. So it might be that whenever they counted 500%, they were over exaggerating, and then they've changed it to now 138% is actually above the 100. Maybe the new 100. Maybe there's a new 100%. And I'm hitting that, and it's bad. Oh, I haven't tweeted this out yet. I don't know why I didn't tweet that I'm live. Gosh, I need to do that better. Let's see. Post. No. What the heck? It didn't copy. Copy. I need to post. I just do that for my links. Copy and paste them from my pinned tweet on my channel. On my what do you call it? Twitter. Let's see. All right, we're gonna go ahead and take a screenshot of this, a new one, and we're gonna post it with that one on there. Let's see, mode, window snip, yeah, that works. And then click, edit, copy, Boom. And now we have that. Come hang out while I work on my bear trap. There we go. Let's see. Hashtag forge. Post. There we go. Now we'll get some more people in here too. Alright, cool. Oh, get rid of this. Alright, so... Alright, well that's really... It's basically kind of lame. I figured that out yesterday, but we're gonna just go from there. Okay, so... What do I want to do here? I'm thinking about putting natural terrain into the wall here. Any reason why you chose Bear Trap? Oh, I'm just calling it Bear Trap because it looks like a bear trap. It's got the... before I put the towers in the middle, it was like these big old claws on the outside, and then this pressure plate looking thing in the middle, and then the cross beam. It just looked like a bear trap was gonna come up. It's a working title. It's not at all gonna be the final, but it's fun for now. By the time it's done, it won't look like a bear trap anymore, so it won't be fitting anymore. What I am thinking about is Bereft, or something to that effect, but this is the fun name for now. This is the you know, Project Monkey Balls kind of thing, you know what I mean? Okay, alright, so let's make some swamp terrain. I want to think about where... Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get in the tank, and I'm going to try and... Why is this not active? What? I mean, I'm sure it works, but that's probably my effects budget thing. Okay, so I've got too many objects that have effects on them, like man cannons. I understand now. That's what overdid it and made it to where the beams don't spawn in. I definitely need to adjust that because that looks terrible whenever the gun just clips right through it. Alright, so if I come out, I need to make it to where... I feel like there needs to be some trees between here and the enemy tank spawn to make it to where tanks have a little bit more time, more trouble doing exactly what I just did, where I just got a blast right in the door and hit the enemy tank. You saw that. Yeah, I'm not pulling it off again, but I don't want that to be possible. If I stop replying, I've dropped off. Okay, that makes sense. Gonna fall asleep eventually. So, okay, what I'm thinking is this. Alright, I need some trees between here and there, which means I need some dirt, unless I want it to be a swamp tree coming straight up out of the water. Which won't be terrible, because having water, I wanted water right outside the door so that I didn't have to make any hills that the Wraith immediately hit. But I think that little dirt patch right there is probably the perfect distance from here forward that I could make the water be here, and then put the dirt patch sort of like closer to that tower area. You know, put it a little bit to the side. I don't mind that at all. Also, this thing is not splashing. The water is not splashing because I think the ground is just too low. I mean, or the water's too high. This is the latest I've stayed awake for 2 weeks, but slowly getting back. Yeah. Through your cycle. That's cool for me and my stream, but sounds unfortunate for being in line. I mean, like synced up with with where you live. Why is all of this moved? I moved this up, but for some reason it's all moved. Like, extremely heavily moved? I must have accidentally grabbed this. That was in the prefab. Okay. I moved that with the prefab earlier. That's why this was out there. Okay, that makes more sense. But yeah, double stack it. Double stack what? Oh, the water. The water. I see what you're saying. Yeah. I see what you're talking about. Took me a second to realize what you were talking about. You hate your current cycle? Yeah. So, here's what I'm thinking. An island that is a little bit... Let's make it a little flatter. I want it like that, but I want this to come all the way down. I want to just barely be a little higher in the middle. But not be like that, because that is coming up through the water. So yeah, I think this has got to be the case. Like, there's got to be some kind of upgrade to how they judge your effects budget, because I think there was some kind of update to that, and this is definitely judging my effects budget more accurately. Because it's saying... It's not saying 400% and then I'm still able to place things. Which might be that maybe my older maps were made before some update that came out, and maybe I'll go back into them and find they're still saying 400 or 500% or whatever. Maybe it's that I created this map more recently and the map file itself is what tracks it. I have no idea. I'm waking up at like 6 a.m. I hate it. Nothing goes on in mornings, so it's boring. Yeah, that's awful. That's boring as hell. And 6 a.m. for you is like midnight for me, so people that stream midnight over here would still be on, I guess. Alright, so I think I am going to probably just delete this one and have this one be red. Or maybe delete all but one and have that one be flickering. Right? Maybe that would be cool. Well, no, that would require me to keep both of them. I'd have to have this side going that way and the side going that way to keep to make it look right. So yeah, I guess I'll just have to delete the entire row, which makes sense. Having these have a different color is going to indicate that there's a problem. But then this one, I might even do something like have a... Oh, I can't change the color. Duh. Yeah, because I did the MP version. I might have to switch that, but we'll see. Wait, but yeah. And then what I'm going to do is I can place an object inside there and have it spawn in and then despawn to look like the light is flickering to see if it's like, to show that it's like off. And that can just be a regular dynamic object that just happens to fill that gap. And then this electricity, the coursing electricity is fine. I think the lightning is where it's going to potentially get into a problem. Let's see if my... Okay, those are all spawning in now. Let's check the other side. Oh, I did also place energy barriers last time too. And I placed water objects which are in effect. Yeah, this one's not visibly on either. Oof. Oh, it's also hitting the... Oh, right. I need to adjust the building over. I was planning on doing that off stream yesterday, but I never had time. Alright, so I'm definitely hitting my effects budget too high. Am I gonna have to completely change this to have my rain falling more correctly? I might have to make these towers be more static, which means I could have the tower there and there. That also means I don't need the beams, and then I could have my tower over there, and then that tower would be collapsed in the middle, right? And then the static towers over here would all be producing water. And maybe if they add a snow effect or something like that, then I can, in Season 5, then I could add a snow effect coming down over here. But that would be a lot of effects. Anyway, the point is I can just scale a single effect up, and that's the important thing. Because one effect will solve the whole thing. I'm just keep on going back and forth, and I'm really tired of finding out that these things going back, like moving back and forth, for example, are broken. Like, I can't... It's really frustrating. Ugh. Can you move effects while they're turned off, or something like that? Like delete them, move them, and then spawn them again? Will that make the effect? Because bombs, explosions go off. I do that in Waterworks. I made an explosion that teleports underneath stuff, and I made a dust cloud that appears. Okay, I don't understand why these are not moving now. Okay, it might be that you can't move over time. Is that the problem? Because my script, someone who's actually done, I did this, yeah, okay, I'm going into Waterworks. Hold on, we're saving this just in case I didn't. I'm going into Waterworks to see what I did. Because it works over there. I know it works over there, so something's going wrong here. Let's go see if we can figure this out. It's actually saying that no one's watching on YouTube now, which I think is a glitch. Because YouTube does that sometimes. But we went from 3 to 0, and I know Aaron's left it on, so... Let's see, mission 2, where is Waterworks? Waterworks. I'm hopping in here to see what I do with my script, with my, thing. This is one of those dumb things. But yeah. Juice. Hello, Gwenny. Alright, let's see. There are notifications. They've done some... Oh, people are just liking the... Yeah, the tweet. Alrighty. No major news in Halo right this second. Oh man, I did find out that the guy who played Balin in Ahsoka passed away. So, that's extremely unfortunate. For obviously anyone passing away is unfortunate, but it's also unfortunate for Ahsoka and like the whole situation. We have no idea what that's going to be like. Kind of wrecks one of the coolest characters in Star Wars to come out in a long time very quickly, and he was doing such a good job. He was going to have like this great like character in Star Wars legacy to leave behind and everything like that, but at least we have this one season of him. So I have no idea if he's gonna like die in this season or not as a character, but we'll find out. But people are already they're talking about replacements and all over Twitter and stuff like that. So that's gonna be a thing. Okay, scripting is its own folder at the very bottom. Scripts. Let's oh, they're unlocked already? Oh, that's interesting. Must have come in here at some point and forgot to relock them. Okay. So when I moved the dust cloud, where is it? Okay. Delete objects, prefab. Yeah, this is like deleting. Why are these like that? Anyway, alright, what am I doing here? Okay. Do debris. Yes. This is stalactite collision boom, dust drifts. Yeah, okay, so we are setting the object position. So I need to script the rain with set object position and move it like that, which means the rain is going to be a little jaggedy in its movement, but I don't need to worry about the fact that I just can't move it over time. So, okay, that's cool. So that should work. I just got to go back over and script it to work that way. That's easy. It's not as big of a deal as I thought it was. I'm not going to have to cut the whole water effect. I just have to make it move a little differently. That is kind of unfortunate, though, about the percentage, though, that I've used up. We'll see. Jeez, I'm already at 642 on Bear Trap. That's interesting. Let's see. By the way, is it true? I don't know if you've heard it all, Aaron, if you're still here or not right this second, but is it true that people are boycotting Kick? I heard about that like yesterday or day before yesterday, and I haven't really gotten to look into it in more detail. But they're like boycotting Kick because a specific streamer was an asshole on Kick, and there's some kind of policy issue that's allowing people to be complete idiots and causing problems in foreign countries or some nonsense. That's all. That's what I got. I don't know if it was that guy they were talking about, or if it was a different guy. I just heard about that guy and also the Kick stuff. Okay, so these are gonna have to be registered as not the same thing. Not user whiskey. That's annoying because whiskey was for water. That bothers me now. I'll do alpha for aqua. There we go. Let's see. Ooh, I could do even better. Even better. We'll do hotel for H2O. That's more sci-fi, so it's better. Let's see. Hotel. It's better for this case. How can I get away with just two like rain pieces over here, but I need... Oh, right, because I just shrink them down because this side is thinner this way, and this side's got more space this way, so I was able to just do two. Let's see, okay. Hotel. So these are not going to fall into the script anyway, because that moves... The script is every now and then it grabs everything that's listed as whiskey and it tries to move it. So now we're just going to make another one that grabs everything that's hotel and make it move it and like recalculate a new location and move it to that location pretty much, you know, instantly, which is going to be a little weird looking, but basically, yeah. And that means, technically that means it will be easier to move the one that's down here, because once it reaches a certain point, I can make the value just be lower. So it'll be like a sort of jittery movement anyway, and then it'll hit this point, and then it'll vanish and be below ground. And the other cool thing is that if Season 5 comes out, and they make it to where effects can now move, right? And they can move to a place over time, like we know, like everything else can, I'll be able to just immediately come in here and set these back to whiskey, and they'll start working again. So there won't be a problem. It'll be like really simple and easy. It'll be simple and clean, if you will. You know, if you're a fan of Kingdom Hearts. 0. Okay, bring this down. And then we're going to turn this 45 degrees because I'll mostly be probably looking at it from this side or that side. It'll be easier to see. Okay, cool. The point is that I need to go into that scripting and we need to figure this out. Okay. So, cycle sprinkler. That's the movement of the sprinkler back and forth. It takes 90 seconds and it happens every 120 seconds, so it'll pause at the other end for about 30 seconds before going back. Okay, so if we go ahead and grab this exact same thing and we go Control C, and then we're just gonna grab this Boolean thing and we're gonna use it to stretch the area out, and then we're gonna paste this one. That way it won't paste in and like try to be in the same place as another object, as the other nodes, and then move itself all over the place and make a mess. And then we can move this up here. Now this is the is heading to red. So that's a Boolean expression. What I've got it set is basically every 120 seconds, if is heading to red is set to true, which on default it is. Then for each object, it triggers the custom global event cycle sprinkler, which is the one that moves it, and it feeds it negative 359, which is the value of the distance it needed to move, which I accidentally stumbled upon very quickly by just throwing in 360, negative 360. I was like, that's like a circle. That might work. As the distance, it's around that area, and it happened to be almost exactly perfect. And then I just had to tick it back by like one more value to make sure the glowing of the orb was outside of the device, so it'd sort of glow on that end. And then we've got duration in seconds of 90 here. Yeah, basically, yeah. So what this trigger does is it gets its position, it feeds it into a new vector 3 where it changes the y by adding in the value that was passed into it, which is the negative 359. Now this one is just positive 359, and that's if it's not heading to red, then it's heading to blue. So therefore, if heading to red is false, then we know that it's heading to blue. So for each object, it triggers the exact same thing, but with a different value plugged into it, so it moves the opposite direction because it's just plugging in that value to the new where it wants to go over 90 seconds. So that works out very nicely. The problem is that we need so we need to make one that works exactly the same way, except it needs to be let's see. Oof. Okay. I think what we'll need to do is we will need to make another variable, but not necessarily Boolean. We need to have like an is moving toward red, right? And that needs to be able to be, or maybe an is moving, and it could be a number variable. And if it's set to 0, then it's not moving. If it's set to 1, then it's moving to red base. And if it's set to 2, then it's moving back to blue base. And in this section, in these branches, we need to set that to 1 or 2 or whatever. Down here, every in seconds, which needs to be a specific low value, we need to check which number it is with a branch. And if it is 1, right, not necessarily a branch like this, but basically if it's 1, then it'll go one direction. If it's a different one, then it'll be a different direction. The branch will be a little different. And that would make it to where, and then if it's 0, it won't do anything. It'll just sort of ignore it. So basically, if it's 1, it'll go off one branch. If it's, and then, else basically, like if false, then yeah. Okay, yeah. So that means we need to add a node for a variable advance. We need to declare a number variable. And the reason I'm doing a number is because if I do Boolean, I'm going to have to do 2 Booleans, and that will actually not save time. Doing a number variable and then using it like it's a three-pointed, like a three-pointed like Boolean variable is better. Is more efficient. Let's see. Is moving. I think. Did I name the other one is moving? No, yeah. Is heading to red is the other one. Because that one's much more specific. This one is just is moving. Initial value is going to be 0. Scope is going to be global. Actually, maybe I should, since a global, I need to say sprinkler Sprinkler is moving. There we go. Now we've got that going on. Now what we're going to do is we're going to say not paste. No, we're going to say add node. And you know what else we're going to do? Hold on. We're going to select this and we're going to hit Control C so that if I paste again, it won't paste all of those nodes because that could potentially cause some kind of bug or something like that. And I don't want to do that. Variables advanced. Set number variable. Yeah, set number variable. We're going to say clear this. We're going to set it before we start moving our objects because, well, actually, should we do that on completion so that the water follows? Yeah, we're going to do that on completion. Let's see, clear all pins, put this back. On completion, we are going to set this number variable, and the reason is because, no, wait a minute. If it's on completion, is it going to wait until this is done? Or is it just going to... I think async means it's just going to trigger it and move on. So it's going to do every single object, and then it's going to move on to this, I believe. We will have to print add node. Let's see, I'm going to do a UI real quick and say print number to kill feed. Do that. And we are going to go... identify... Okay, let's see. Add node. I think this is the way it's going to work, so we're just going to do it real quick. Get number variable. We're going to click on this. R. Copy that. Whoops. Let's see. Get number variable is going to be plugged into there. We're going to hit R. Identifier. Control V. Scope global. And this one is going to be identifier, Control V, value, set number variable, we're going to set it to 1, which is going to increase it, you know, we're going to, because we're just going to change it, so whenever we test this, it's going to immediately trigger, and it's going to be true, so it's going to go down here, and we're going to see it start to move these, and then it's going to immediately declare this, so that should, yeah, see, it already worked. Oh boy, why is it going backwards all of a sudden? What did it do? Okay, that should not have done something weird. Okay, that's really weird. Hey, how's it going, PTSD machine? Let's see. It should be set to true and should be going to red. What is happening? I didn't change anything. Oh, you know what? I do know what's happening, I think. No. Wait. Yes, I do. I bet... Hold on. We'll figure this out. Is one object moving to the right and all the rest going the other way? Maybe? Is there anything going to the right? At all? No. Not that I can see, but if one of these water effects are still set to whiskey, that could be the object it's trying to send to the right. Oh my god, I have no idea. But hello PTSD machine, how's it going? So what I think is happening, this is what I think is happening. This is triggering, and it says on completion, and I think it's somehow triggering this. I thought that on completion is after that's all over. Okay, we're just gonna... Why is my inability to do anything? Okay. Clear connection. We're gonna do this. That should work. Maybe that'll work better? No, it's still going backwards. What the hell happened? I didn't change anything else. What? Oh, wait. Why is that not negative? Oh, it is negative. The negative was not there. What is happening? This literally doesn't make any sense. It's set to true. Is heading to red. It was working fine before I came in. Oh, I'm dumb. This is happening. Ah, yes. This is triggering that. Oh, I'm so dumb. Of course. This one is making it go to the right and setting the variable so that it would go to the left instead. then this one, and then this one's also triggering and making it go to the left. I see what's going on. I see your script stuff, and I've been having problems with getting all objects and making them do things in the customs. Yeah, okay, so the best way to do the objects you want to do is to use, let's see, then objects in area monitor. It doesn't seem to work, and objects by label is finicky and doesn't work sometimes. It's annoying and it's just a bug. So what's happening for this is the effects don't move. Apparently effects can't move like this. Can't translate object to point. They do not move when you use translate object, but they can move if you say set object position. So I'm trying to rebuild a second script for the water that's just going to set it very slightly to the right over and over and over and over and over again. And what I'm probably gonna do is actually find the X value. Yeah, for FX they only set positions, so set them on something. Yeah, I'm gonna have the object that's moving above them be moving, translate to point, and then on the effects, it's going to set its current position to its current position with the X changed to the position of the middle rail of my, watch, I'll show you. So this middle rail, right? Its position is, its object point is right there in the middle. So if I just take this direction, which is on the y-axis actually, if I change the y value of each of these, of everything that's labeled as hotel, and I make the y value equal this one's value, then while this one moves, its y value will constantly change. So if every 0.1 second or maybe or something like that, the lowest value I can get, I make this thing set its current y position to that one, then as long as that thing is moving slowly, this thing should look fairly smooth as it slowly makes its way across along with it. So then once I get it right, I'll just tune how fast this thing moves across the map, and that should make my effects work along with my objects. So that's something that could be extremely valuable for anyone out there, and maybe I should make that into a clip that that I can release on my YouTube, this part of this, because that means that you can put an object outside your map that's a dynamic object, or an arrow, and have the arrow move translate to point, and then use that to guide all of your effects that you want to move until they potentially resolve this, because I think this is a bug where I think that the effects are supposed to be able to be translated to point, but maybe there's some kind of bug about it that makes them to where they're not capable of doing that right now. But I think that this will solve that, and it'll make it a workaround for anybody out there who wants to do that now. So yeah. And if I do make this a clip, like and subscribe for more. There you go. Right? PTSD machine? That's the YouTuber stuff I'm supposed to do, right? Okay, anyway. Okay, so now I need to make the script that does that. So, let's see. If I go down here, every point... Let's see. Every point... 0.1. We'll see. We'll try that. Okay, no, it won't. Right, exactly. Okay, 0.1. So now we're gonna do it. It might, and this will probably be on the script on it as well. So we got our script. If this is gonna be in the YouTube clip, I'll explain real quick. This script, every 122nd has a branch, and then it's got this, and it basically just calls with an async and this number plugged into it. It calls this script, which is getting the position, making a new vector 3 off of that position with its x and y, the x and z the same, because all I want to do is move it along y, and then I'm adding the number, which is here, that's handed into it. I'm adding that in to the y and then doing it. So then I've got a branch so I can make it move in one direction and then move the other direction, and then move one direction and move the other direction, and they just toggle it. Right here is heading to red, which is how I view that side of the map. I call it the red side of the base, the red side of the map. For some reason my music isn't going. Okay, there we go. And so now what we want to do, it's broken right now because both of these are running at the same time, and there's just a copy paste of that one, and so it's working against itself. But now what we want to do is 0.1 not is heading to red. We need this to be sprinkler is moving. Okay, so we need to go Control C. Oh, that's not what I want. I didn't mean to back out all the way. Okay, let's see. And down here we can go add node. Let's see. Hold on. No, wait. Get Boolean. Oh yeah, we don't need get Boolean. We need one of these. And actually, this is right here. It's already got it. Control C, Control V. Where did it not spawn? Okay, we'll just hit duplicate. Alright, so we can delete this one. And then we got to do add node, math, compare, because we got 3. Actually, what am I doing? I don't need to do this. I think that I don't have to turn it on and turn it off now that I realize I'm just going to move to that position anyway. Yeah, never mind. I don't need a branch. I don't even need that variable up there. I just need every 0.1 seconds for each object labeled hotel, because that's H2O for the water. I was about to make it more complicated for myself, but I don't need to. It was whiskey for water, but then I've realized there's a problem. Set it to 0, the number. Yeah, I don't even think I need to. Oh, wait, can you do that? Oh, right, I can do that. Yes. I don't know if that's going to bug it out, though, and make lag on the thing, but I'll do that for now. We're going to do that for now, but anyone who's trying to copy this, just be aware that in a custom game, if you do this, you can potentially cause issues for yourself. So if you do a number variable and you set that in for your seconds, you can make every in seconds be 0. You can also make it 0.01, for example. You can override the minimum being 0.1. But this is potentially going to cause network issues, so I might have to walk that back and even put it back to 0.1. But we'll see. We'll just have to find out how bad it is. Okay, for each object, labeled hotel. Each of my water effects are labeled hotel with the custom user labeled user hotel. And then I'm going to trigger an event for them that's going to be asynchronous, but it's not going to be this one. I don't think I need to do this either. Okay, and then we're going to delete this one, and then we're going to... That's not what I meant to do. I keep hitting the escape button whenever I do not mean to do that. Okay, now we're going to copy this. Oh my gosh. There we go. Okay. Duplicate. And then this is going to come down here, and this is going to be the actual thing that we trigger. We're going to hit R. We're going to change this name. We will call it motion of the ocean, because it's water. No, we'll just do motion of the H2O. There we go. There we go. Alright, now, this is going to be our trigger. We're going to now copy that, get out of it, go in here, and paste it here so that we know we've got the same exact text. We don't need a number variable to be passed into it, so I'm going to 0 that out, even though it's probably not that big of a deal. Is there a nil? I don't think there's a nil, but... Is there a way to make none? Nah, there's no way to get it back to empty, but we'll just pass 0. Oh, that's not what I want. And then what we do is in here, we do add node, not translate, but no, not in here. Objects transform.
Chalk up another one for the big green.
Cool. Hey, thanks for the follow. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Set object to point. No, not rotate object. Set object position. Nice. Hi, mate. Nice streaming. I noticed something on your channel that I think needs to be amended. But Discord, it would be I'd love to chat with you more about Discord. Oh, okay. Gotcha. That might be cool. Let's see. And here we go. We're gonna take our object, set object to position. The position is going to be. We're going to have to get another object, which is going to be our... We need to do that. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. Add object reference, and we're going to go... We don't want to move it to its entire position. We're going to... we need to add a node, get object position. We're going to take this object and get its position, right? And then we need to do it again, duplicate... And we're going to get this object's position, and then we're going to make a brand new vector 3, add a node. We're going to go down here to is it basics? Do I have to do it? Yeah, vector 3. Vector 3 is a XYZ location in space, but it also has a direction, so it's got your rotation stored in there too. That's why it's called a vector instead of. Oh right, first I need to. Where is it? Is it objects? Get object. Let's see. Translate object to point. Rotate object. Move object. Where's the one that's for where you can get the object like position and like break it, or you take the position and breaks it into a vector 3, into 3 lists. Oh wait, I'm dumb. I've got that up here. I'll just have to go up here and get vector access values, duplicate. It's called get vector access values. I don't remember which folder it's in, so sorry if you are trying to follow this along. You're going to need to get the vector access values, you're going to need to duplicate this, and you're going to do this. And then, so now you're going to have the vector access values of both of them, and you're going to take the X, in my case, I want the X and the Z to remain the same, and all I need is the Y from my Forerunner hex pillar, which is the object that's going to move. So basically, what's happening is this script is moving all the objects labeled whiskey, and that includes this object, and they're moving it that way, which is along the Y-axis, right? And then whenever they get to the end, they move them back. So then what my script is doing is then this one down here is then making the water, which these rain clouds, which are effects, you know, they can't move with the same kind of translate object to point where it moves really smoothly. So instead, this script is calling for each of the rain effect objects to then be moved exclusively along the y-axis to align with this central column. So they're going to keep their, you know, their x, their x-axis and their z-axis, but then the y-axis is going to shift along, you know, the same line as the waterfall. There's the sprinkler effect. We're going to set that new vector as the position of the object, and that should all the cool stuff is math. Well, yeah, I know, right? Math. Oh, okay, so get vector access values was in math. Gotcha. Okay, cool. That popped up on screen, I'm sure, when it was more relevant to what I was saying. So hopefully anybody, if I do make this into a clip at the end, if I remember to do that, then we will have that lined up at least there. More easy to follow. But anyway, the point is that while I arrange these, I was just saying. So yeah, basically this should, in theory, assuming I didn't forget to put any script things in, build, and it should make the water move with it. Okay, so you can see the water is now moving with it, and it appears to be very smooth. In fact, it's doing a better job of it lagging behind a little bit to make the water droplets look like they're falling diagonally than it used to. It used to actually be a little bit off. So that's actually fantastic. But the important test is not in here. The important test is in the custom games, like making it a custom game. So I need to go do that now and see if it works. You might have to test that in customs before you get too far along, because I had trouble with the referencing objects when in customs. Okay, well that's a good point. Let's do that real quick. Custom Bear Trap play. This is just a tentative title. It's just because it looked like a bear trap if you looked at the map from above, and it looks cool. But it'll be named something else by the time it's done, so if you're looking at this tutorial in the distant future, this map may not be named that, so you won't be able to find it as easily. But anyway, yeah. So, let's see if it works, and if it does, that'll be great. I'll also cut all of this out with the loading times for the actual finished. If I upload a clip, I'll bring it into open shot and cut out that all this loading time. So yeah, that'll be cool. But on Kick, if I make it a clip or whatever, it'll be different. So I don't think I'll be able to edit out a section like that. So you'll be seeing this as I yammer on about it. All right. Okay. Wait. I went back into Forge. What? Didn't I go to customs? Oh my god. Now we got more loading time. Yeah, I'm definitely going to cut this out of the clip. Did I go down one extra click lower than I thought I did? I thought I went to Forge, but to Customs, but I must have gone to Forge. Oh well. Yep, I'm dumb. Definitely went to the wrong one. Well, let's go see. Let's see how this works out. And this might have solved the entire thing. And if it does, I'm totally gonna retweet whenever who was it? Was it you who tweeted? Who was it? No, I don't remember. Someone tweeted at me asking if it was gonna work in customs. Who was it? Let's see. It was Unbroken Onyx. That's right. I don't know why I thought it might have been UPTSD machine. I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. But Unbroken Onyx had been the original person who had pointed out to me that was probably not going to work and I need to go look at it in customs. And I was like, uh-oh. But let's see how this goes. Okay, so is the water moving? The water's moving. Working pretty solidly, too. I did ask in chat, Lol. Yes, you did. You did. And I think that was, like, right. I think that would be why I was confused. Yes. Because you just didn't ask on Twitter. You asked it on the stream. Okay, look at that. It's working, and this is custom games. So look at that. solves our problem. And the one weird downside is that it does look more weird down below. Up top, it looks fantastic. What is happening? Okay, for a second, I thought the object... That was an illusion. Okay, for a second, I don't know if you saw that too, but there's an illusion that happened because of the shape of these objects. That it looked like the discs were moving faster than the rest of the thing for half a second. I was like, why? It's like, what is happening there? But anyway, the point is, the rainfall is in fact moving and it's working. And I need to move these buildings because they're off center. That's pretty dope. Starts taking notes, right? So like, there you go. All you gotta do is move it, and you don't have to have it be a physical or visible object. If you want the effect to move, but you don't have a giant boom like this, where I've got I call this a sprinkler because it's just sprinkling on this. It's just watering the ground over here. It's basically a giant sprinkler. If you don't have a sprinkler kind of thing where it's actually visible, you can just use a pointer and that'll be an arrow. You know, the pointers will just, little arrow objects will just be invisible as they move. And you can also do, if you have another object that you do, you can just add something that actually is physical. Or you can put something that's under your map, like underground, and let it move underneath everything to where it doesn't matter. So if you don't want a pointer, which is kind of oh, yeah, that's the effect thing. So I've definitely run out of effects budget, because look at that, it's just like not working. I need to figure out what it is that's causing the effects budget issue. I just have too many, and I need to fix that. I might turn off the rail on this, the red rail on this side too. That'll give me 4 objects back. Or I might reduce the number of gravelists, because this one, the ones that are pointing back that way are a cool addition that I found out last time, but I would rather get rid of them than get rid of the cool art of the map, so yeah. Like, I know that's silly, that gameplay element that seemed like it was a good idea should be gotten rid of in favor of avoiding the, yeah, but I don't know. I just feel kind of that way. You know what I could do, actually? How weird would it be... Oh, I can't go into monitor mode because I'm not in Forge. And I got myself stuck on this side of this thing, so... Anyway, how weird would it be? Tell me if this is dumb. What if I had that rotate? What if I had that man cannon pointing at the middle of the building, you know, like doorway there, and then it turns and then goes back and points that direction, and then it turns and goes back. Would that be weird? Let's see, the faster the object you have the effect attached to, then the smaller the number you need for the effect to stick to the object's vector. The slower the object, then the more leniency you have. And yes, I agree. And the thing is that if you go too fast, I don't think it's possible to keep up without it looking bad. Because what'll happen is that's going to make it go, like, it'll make it more jittery. So if you do this kind of effect thing, try to figure out a way to make your effect move really slowly like this, or else you're going to have trouble where it'll just like look odd. But maybe if you have like 2 effects inside of each other and you move one and then the other one and then one and then the other one or something weird like that, you might be able to get it to look more smooth, because it will be like one will be they'll be like jittering a little differently. So like, for example, if you have like a slip space field or something like that, and you have 2 of them, and you have one of them move to the right and then the other one, it would just look like it was pulsating, you know? So your effect could still theoretically appear to be just fine, you know? If you give the man cannon a sort of daze, then I think it would look cool for it to rotate. I agree, and it might be interesting. I don't know if mechanically it would be a good idea or not, but like, it kind of has a daze already, but if I make it more detailed over there, like make it a little bit bigger, then it won't look as weird. Like, it'll point into that thing and possibly hit it where it is now. But if I move it further that way and make it a more elaborate daze and then make it like a sort of a curve there for it to rotate around to where it looks like it's rotating on like on a round pivot of some kind, then yeah, I think that would work out. I don't know, that basically make it to where there's only one effect object that's there. And this is a pretty big effect object. I'm pretty sure it counts towards something. I know that it's an effect object because whenever I had the beam over there, they were not turning on visibly. They worked, but they weren't visibly glowing. I was thinking a more circular daze. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, like something like round, that it might be rotating along the, like pivoting along the edge of, would be kind of cool. Or did you mean like, oh wait, did you mean something that goes around? Hold on. Do you mean something that goes out around this column so that it actually like curves out around it and the object is sliding along, the man cannon is sort of sliding out and around it. That would actually be kind of cool. Let me get out of here so I can get back into Forge so I can fly up there and look at it better instead of having to jump into vehicles just to get a third-person camera. But like, let's see. So basically, if it's like a big like strip, like a ribbon kind of daze, then you could theoretically get into it while it's at certain positions, but as it gets out to where that column is there, it might like come out and the column will be in the way, so it'd be really hard to jump into it to really launch yourself. So it ended up creating like almost a toggle effect where it only works on this side for a little bit and then it only works on this side a little bit, but then like it ends up not actually deactivating itself, but effectively deactivating itself because you won't be able to get onto it as easily for a brief period of time. And the angle of it and the angle of the column will actually overlap each other pretty nicely, so that they'd actually complement each other pretty well. But yeah, guns and weapon and equipment spawners and cannons and vehicles will take from effects budget. Oh, I have not placed weapons, equipment, spawners, or vehicle spawners. But yeah, the strip thing is a cool idea. Totally raise the quality of the map by a long shot. I know, yeah, I think that would work. I'm not sure how to move it along a strip that easily now that I think about it, because it'd have to move and rotate at the same time, which is a little bit odd, but it wouldn't be too bad. Yeah, anyway, we'll have to figure that out. But it would make it to be fewer effects. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly am really curious about this effects budget, and I'm wondering if there's some kind of bug happening on this map, because I've got energy barriers, you know, like 1, 2, I've got 7, 8, I've got 8 energy barriers, right? I've got the man cannons, I've got these light beams, I've got the rain, and then I've got some weapon spawners. I mean, some vehicle spawners. But like, I've done that on Big Team on like Waterworks does that and more. So I don't understand why these are starting to despawn. That's reaching the limit of my scripting ability too, huh? Yeah, I think the way to figure that... okay, so like, I'm just going to duplicate it so I can move one around without messing up the location. Basically, what I think I would have to do is make an object here, make it translate to this object's its orientation and location, right? And then do the same thing over here, and then another one over here, right? And so it'd rotate and move, and then rotate and move. But that's going to move in a straight line from each point instead of like an arcing curve. So I am not sure what to do. Maybe if I made it translate to, like, if I made it translate from like base, possibly like right there or something to that effect, to go to there, but a little different because the angle would have to go around this thing. And as it translates from here to here, I'm also having another script running at the same time, like I'm doing for the rain, to tell it to tweak it a little bit this way, and then eventually start tweaking it a little bit that way. Maybe I could do that to modify its movement. So it's trying to go from here to there, but it's actually being tweaked to drag it out and drag it this way. Maybe that would work? I have no idea. That might not be possible now that I think about it. But a simple rotation will definitely be possible. So I could theoretically just like move it over here, have it point at the thing, and then have it rotate that way, and then rotate back. And that wouldn't be the end of the world. But then one of the problems is that my values on these cannons are set to something very specific, right? I also don't need this one. I mean, like, basically my values on this cannon are set to land there, and those are very different distances and locations. So I don't know, maybe this is impossible. There's a math that you could use to make it do exactly what you want in a curve. Oh, okay. Let's see, maybe move object to transform would serve as that, because it takes the rotation and position of the target object. Let's see, it might be able to do that math. I might be able to do that math. I have done it before on something similar. I will make a prototype, and if it works, then give you a prefab or something. Wait, isn't there a scriptable math? Hold on. isn't that... What wave type is that? Because I'm pretty sure in math you can get trigonometry, arc sine, arc cosine, arc tan, cosine, sine, tan. If I multiplied this by something, can't I make a... Is it a sine wave that would do that? There's what I can look up. I can remind myself by looking this up because I did this in university, but I don't remember which one is which. But if I look up what the arc is, could I theoretically multiply its like location along an arc, and just like get its location and multiply it by this or something like that, and slowly create an arcing kind of path, and then set it back into itself, but just on the XY axis? Or something like that. With that, I don't know. I'd have to. Yeah, I have no idea. But basically, I just need to create a function and set its location to X, to F. Along that function over time. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's possible. Yeah, man, that's gonna be complicated. But once I figure it out, would be cool. Once we figured it out, since I might need your help with that one because it has been so long. Vector cross product. Vector dot product, I know what those are. Subtract vector, scale vector, round to whole number, normalize, multiply. Yeah, so I'll probably have to do something like that. It's probably something like multiply against the arc, or this or something. I don't know. I have to figure out the math of it, but basically make an equation inside my scripting. I don't think this is important anymore. I'm not using this anymore, so I don't need that number at all anymore, or this variable to be declared. Because I ended up making it just happen every single second to follow along that object, so that works out great. But yeah, okay, cool. So this is my thing moving. I just need to figure out the effects thing, which might be a matter of just like I have too many effects. I think, okay, this is something that might be the case, by the way, with Waterworks has like the same number of effects or more, and can go so high over budget, but isn't causing the same problem as this. And here's what I think it is. I think I have too many unique effects, right? So if you have a map where you're having to pull in these animated textures, right, that like sort of glow and pulsate and stuff like that, like the animated moving texture here, then that's going to apply to my effects budget differently than this texture's animated text, and this one, or texture, and this one's animated texture, and you know what I mean? So like, and I think these energy barriers are a different size from these, so they might even count as a different effect. So it might be that my FX that I have on the map are too varied, and that's what's causing this one to not be able to handle this many effects, which might also be why, yes, some of my man cannons started turning on and being visible whenever I deleted that line, but some of my other ones are still very much being affected, which also means like I could delete this lightning bolt, which has a sound effect value applied to it, and also the lightning bolt, and it animates and like it moves and all that kind of stuff, and it makes the screen vibration. That one might be a really expensive effect. But then, and then this one's like sparks, so it's going to have its own kind of effect. It's got a smoke cloud, that goes off. I might have to delete this one, for example, which isn't bad. I mean, if I have to delete this one, I can just cover this area in snow, and it won't be a problem that it's not sparking. I don't think anyone would judge that. Even though it's a broken thing, no one would really... They might want to expect there to be one, but they wouldn't be super disappointed by seeing that it has no effect applied to it. I did not realize that is poking out in the middle of my ramp. Well, this ramp's going to be natural anyway, so it might curve as it goes down, so it won't be a problem. It is kind of weird that I have a floor intersecting this whenever I want it to be a drop down. So I'm going to go into my y-axis, go 48. That should be possibly enough. Nope, it's still in the wall. We're going to go to 32. Nope, still not enough. We're going to go down to... Is that 16? Is that literally... Oh. I was looking at the floor beneath it. 48. Oh, that was enough. That was perfect. Okay, cool. So basically the idea is you can slide in here and get down here very easily, and then the ramps are the only way back up, but yeah. I'm pretty sure that's possible, you said. Okay, so let's... I hope that this works for the effects, but I don't know because, once again, Forge can render more than the actual game can. So these effects that I have left are kind of, you know, I have no idea if they're going to be if which one is going to be the case, but hopefully it works. That also means like if I add a teleporter, that's going to add an effect. An FX. Okay, you know what else though? Anything in Ocom's thing up here that involves FX might apply. I don't think he has anything up here. Never mind. Never mind. Yep. Yeah, he doesn't have anything up here. I have no idea what we're doing with the budget here, or like how to get the effects to start rendering better right now. But I'm gonna have to keep playing with it until I figure it out. Let's see. All right. So what I need next? You know what I'm gonna do? My victory screen. He's got it set up. By the way, if you guys ever use this thing, if you grab all of this, and you grab this cone. That cone, I think, is where it starts the camera, or maybe where it ends. Yeah, this camera pans over and ends at this location here, right? So the idea, I don't know why he's got a cutter. I guess that's just a point. It to be used as an arrow. So the idea is just to place this where you want the camera angle to be based on that. And he's got it set up for the actual like field of view of the ending. But yeah, what is that pale yellow volume on the object platform out of map? Okay, I will check that. Just give me. I'm gonna prefab this so I can grab it all at once. This one's the named location volume, I believe. Yeah, named location volume. And normally, because it's set to it's not set to show on. It's set to off, so you'll almost never see it until after you've set them. But he's got them all set to on so that you can see them and find them and stuff like that really easily. Something else he does that he doesn't have set up here that I'm actually surprised. Oh no, he does have it set up. Is this? Look, his respawn point. Look at that. He sets an area, cylinder area with a 400 top on all of his respawn points. It's such big brain activity here. He does this so that once they're all on the map, he can go into this menu, go to the folder they're in, hit, select one of them, go to select all or whatever, and then set it to show, and all of these lines show up across the map to show him exactly where every one of his spawn locations are. So he can see if something's not mirrored really easily. But yeah. Wait, pale yellow, this one! Oh, I'm sorry, that's a kill volume. And this is the soft kill volume. I thought kill volumes were also red, but I guess they're not. I thought they were both set to red. So I'm sorry, I thought you meant this one. But you're right, this one is much more pale. But yeah, and it gets much more solid whenever it hits things. But yeah. My bad. But yeah, so this is like a really big brain move that he does. So if you, get this thing. I don't remember what it's called, what Ocom's maps things are called. Thought it was red too. Yeah, I know, right? I think we probably just use too many soft kill zones, and the hard kill zones are so big and outside the map usually, or like off the bottom of the map that you just never even see the barrier. You know what I mean? That's probably why we forgot. But let me see. It starts with a T, I think. It's lowercase t, so it's lower TSG. He puts TSG for all of his. Here's a Halo Broken Ring, for example. Halo Ring Full. Infection setup. I'm gonna have to get rid of some of my prefabs, because unprefab things because of this. Because there's a limit to how many can be in the prefabs folder. It's very frustrating. Anyway, it's very useful though, that thing. And here's the spawn volumes. He's got everything set up for you. Well, actually, the spawn volumes may not be fully set up. I think he's got them partially set up. Let's see. Disable spawn points on. Yeah. So this is Team Eagle, affects opposing team on, so it's affecting Cobra team, not Team Eagle that it's set to, and it's disable spawn points. So this is Team Eagle's side of the map, disables all of the spawn points for Team Cobra, but you put it inside the inside the bases, or however big you need it to be for your map to be balanced, and then you set it to CTF. It's already set to CTF include, stockpile include, total control include. So then Slayer, the bases can rotate, and you can take control. You can start respawning in your opponent's side of the base. But in Capture the Flag, it doesn't do that, so your enemy can't spawn inside of your base and steal your flag immediately. And he's got all this stuff already set up for you, so like literally everyone should be using this. 100%. TSG is what he puts at the beginning. Oh, I didn't know that was how the spawn volumes work. Yeah. So like the default ones, like, he doesn't have any here that are regular, I think because he primarily doesn't really use them, and there wouldn't be a whole lot of stuff to do with them. But let's say if I go into my spawn locations, or into here, and I go none, not include that, none, none, and none, and then I come down here and I turn off the, turn these off, the affects opposing team and the disable spawn points. Then this one works like a normal spawn one, where you come in here, oh, the weight right here, and you set the weight. And you can, for example, set the weight to -8. And what you do with that is, this is now set up to where players are less likely to spawn in the middle of the map. They'll most likely spawn at one of the bases. So I can set my location to 0 and 0, and then I can have it above the map, and I can start scaling it up, and I can say you're much less likely to spawn inside of this zone, and I've of course just got it set up while I was showing you how to do it. And then so because a -8 on your weight, so it doesn't want to use these spawn points as much. There's a sight cone that comes off of every single player, so if you look at a spawn point, it reduces the spawn that one's spawn point weight for the opposing team, and it increases it for your team. And so basically I just wanted to envelop these two buildings and most of the middle of the map, right? But basically, yeah, that's what you do, and then you've got it to where now you're more likely to respawn over here. But it's not impossible. If you're in the middle of the map and you're right next to a spawn point, I'm pretty sure the cone does like 16. So like if it's a -8 and you've got an ally here and they look at a spawn point and there's no enemy looking at the spawn point, then it will be then they're more likely to spawn up right next to you, sort of almost like campaign mode, you know, like spawn up on your bro co-op style, as they say, back in the day. Yeah, that's basically how you want to do that. But this is the standard ones, right? And then the team one, it's good information, yeah. And then the team one, Eagle is blue, so I'm gonna make, and I think of this other base as blue. I should be thinking of it as Eagle probably. So I just move this over here, and then rotate it this way, and I'll set its location on, whoop, yeah, here it is. Right here to 0, that'll put it in the middle. And then I can make it wider, and I can just say this entire base area, all of the spawn, that's not what I want to do, let's just spawn it this way. Everything inside this base is now a spawn point for Eagle team, or rather, is not a spawn point for Cobra. Cobra cannot spawn inside this area. So I can do that, or I think much more likely, I want to have some ability to spawn into near Cobra, close enough that it's a threat, right? But I don't want it to be inside this core area of the map. So what I want to do is probably do that, right? So you can spawn in at a spawn point that might be like right there on the ledge, right? And then go inside the base. But, and you could potentially, or maybe out here or something like that, or somewhere over here. But like you can't spawn in right here, like right in the door and then go grab the flag, right? So your allies could spawn near you, but not that near to you. You know what I mean? And, yeah, and then of course this is, like I was saying, exclude. I'm actually going to make it even thinner. I'm going to go in here so that the spawn points that are going to be up here that I am planning to put up here on the balcony anyway, can become hostile spawn points if your enemy takes this area, and then you could have like a major invasion of your base right here. And then what I want to do is do the exact same thing on the opposite side. So what this one's going to do is come over here, and I'm just going to go... Here's a little tip, another one that I love, that I figured out recently and have been like constantly talking about it. Where's my thing? Where'd I put this? Where is it? Where's the spawn volume? Ah. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna select this one. I'm gonna go to the very bottom. I'm gonna hit select all of, and I'm gonna deselect this one, and I'm gonna deselect the one I just dragged over here. There it is. And that means I'll have that one selected. And then I'm going to move it down because this is way too high and making it hard to find. Okay, there we go. Now, okay, so what I found was this. I have this one selected. Now I come over to this one, and I select it. And then I go up to, I don't know why it's, let's set this to 0, and now they're both at 0. But basically the idea is this. I want them to be the same height, enter, and it goes into that one's current position because it's the first one I selected, and every other object I select in this case just this one, it sets this one to the exact same height value as that one. Now I think it's actually a faster solution would be to just turn this around and grab this one's y-axis and plug it into this one with a negative value and switch its team off of Eagle to Cobra, because that will do the exact same thing as positioning this one and scaling it and everything, but I don't have to mess with the scale, because that's not as easy. You have to copy it and then move to the other one and then paste it, and move back to the other one, copy it, and move back. That one's much harder. I've got so much stuff just sitting up in the sky from earlier versions of the map. But yeah. Oh yeah, that's a cool trick. I only recently found out about it as well. Right. So I've been just like non-stop talking about it ever since I found out. I was like, yeah, you can just align an entire thing by just selecting all of them. The first one you select is the location you want all of them to be, and it just instantly moves it. Okay, so this rain is now working. I was gonna put a rain in the middle though, that deletes itself whenever it reaches like this point, and then like maybe moves itself over here, and then respawns itself over here and starts moving with it. So that one's gonna be a little more troublesome. But yeah, Aramax, hey, how's it going? This is pretty cool and entertaining. Thanks. Yeah, I'm just building a giant bear trap, basically. No, it's a broken little like what do you call it? Kind of an arboretum. I could call it arboretum. In the desert, it could be an arboretum. In the snow environment, I wouldn't necessarily call it an arboretum. You know what I mean? But yeah. Keep up the great work. If you're interested, I'd be happy to give some helpful hints to help your channel expand. Oh, that'd be pretty cool. I also appreciate follows and stuff like that. But yeah, I have a tried and true strategy for increasing the audience for streamers like you. For further information, please contact me on Discord. Wallace. Cool. Alright, let's see. I think I've got to figure... I'm not sure about the effects. Like I said, the lightning bolt might have been a big, really expensive effect, and I feel like we should go check this now in... Because I was in custom games, and all of them were loading, and I did place that since then, and then nothing was loading. So let's see if that's the case. If that one is an extremely expensive one, and deleting it is enough, but we'll have to see. It's also possible that each man cannon counts separately, but other effects count together, in which case it might be that I just have too many man cannons. You know what I mean? I only have... Do I have any man cannons in... I don't have any man cannons in Waterworks because they didn't exist in Halo 2. And I was gonna potentially add one whenever I made my upgraded version of Waterworks that was gonna be called Hydrostatic. That'd be less like the original. But if this is the case, if it ends up being man cannons that are the problem, that'll be a pretty big deal. So I'll have to change that plan. I also need to move the spawn points, because right now they're all set to the same. I only have Eagle team, and they're all just up on the bridge in a random spot. I need respawn points as well. Okay, so are all of my effects loading in? That's the question. It also could be about number of effects on the screen at a time. And it might be that I have too many effects adding up at any given point in time, but I am noticing nothing missing so far. Okay. Let me check these energy barriers over here. You know what else it could be? Arid could cause this, because I've seen this effect happen on another one of my maps, but Waterworks is on the what do you call it? The Myers. And if Arid has some kind of weird effects budget problem, possibly because of the Halo ring being this massive thing up in the skybox, whereas Myers has the water on the ground, but it doesn't. But that's like one giant water plane that has an effect on it, and then it just clips through the terrain, you know. So it's not a very expensive object, but like this has all this stuff out there, which isn't that big of a deal. But there are water objects out there. There's little oases all over the place. Oh my gosh, it could be Arid. And then my other map, Overlook, doesn't have a huge problem with effects. I have a ton of effects on that one, with a bunch of different kinds of effects, and it seems to be fine too. Oh, it could also have to do with the distance you are from the effects, which can cause it to not be visible for longer distances. Well, yeah, but I was like, at the beginning, the man cannons, I would walk up to them and launch on them, and the whole time there's no effect going off. So I think it's some weird bug. But hold on, the music just turned off. So yeah, that is definitely a bug that happens sometimes about distance. But I think that's mostly distance about not being on the screen. Like that one's scaled up. If I go like this, watch, it's gonna get thinner. See that? Do you see that threshold on the far right there? That's that effect disappearing, like deactivating, and then getting thinner. So that's the other one doing that. So it doesn't render whenever it's on screen, but then like it's about the origin point of it, which is right there. If the origin point was in the middle of the beam, I could actually use fewer of these beams, I think. But yeah, I think you might be right about it. The canvas, yeah, I think it might be. Let's see, I'm not in Forge again, so I can't back out. That might be the case, and if it is, I'm planning on migrating this to a snow canvas. Once they do that, because that would make more sense as to why this site is immediately frozen after the device broke, right? After its proper device broke. But man, that would be crazy. Where should I put this like title screen, this like victory screen thing? What do you think? I'm thinking about putting it on, I could put it in the middle of the map, looking out at one of the sides, but I'm thinking about putting it on the swamp side, on top of the building on the swamp side, maybe looking toward the snow side so you can see the snow in the background and the bridge in the middle, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, it might be the canvas. Once I get on there, I'll fly around and we'll see about all the different water effects that are on the map. I'm also wondering about these trees and if they animate from the wind. Because if the wind is blowing these trees and they're actually animating that are on the canvas, that would be ridiculous. I know that you can make the trees animate that are in the, like at least several of the trees will actually animate from the wind object, from the wind direction, which I didn't know for a long time actually. But I was actually thinking that wasn't the case, but they do animate from the wind depending on where you set your wind to blow in. But anyway, okay, let's see. I know for a fact their water, yeah. Is it animated? Is that water effect animated, or is it just a solid reflective surface that's designed to look like water? Oh my god, it's animated. It's moving. Oh my god, they've got an effect for every single one of these, don't they? They're spawning in a map, and the map has effect objects on its own. It could be the halo ring, but that's probably just a static object, to be honest. But that is actually animating, and there's more of them. There's one all the way out there. There's like a little one somewhere I remember seeing at one point. Let's see. And who knows if these like function the same as the current water, right? The current water might be like more efficient because they were able to like continue to iterate on it. But Arid came out with the game, or with Forge. I mean, there's one over there. I think there's a tiny one or something on the on one of these ledges, but I could be wrong. Maybe that was the tiny one that was on the ledge over there. Maybe that's the one I was thinking of. Oh my gosh. Yeah, like we have no idea how efficient these are. They're animating. They're animated water, but they may be less efficient than what we have now. And because they were part of this canvas earlier. And oh my gosh, like, oh yeah, I've got water effects up here. I can delete these. I'm sure these are affecting it. By the way, let me undo that. Actually, this was early on. I wanted to build it so that the middle structure had a control room that could see the halo. It saw like a hologram of the halo ring above it. So I was doing this effect. Oh, I have this screen effect too, but no, I don't think it's this screen effect with the little balls, little light balls. I've got it constantly raining on Waterworks, and that's not a problem over there. So I really don't think it's that, but it could be. Anyway, this effect I'm gonna put in a different map, where basically it makes anything that's outside the water look kind of funny. And the idea was to put this, but lights still work. So I was thinking about putting some little glowing orbs in the far distance to show, like, you know, map locations that are on this hologram inside a control room. But the rest of the map was going to be completely underground or inside a building. So like you didn't know you were on Arid with the halo ring. I'm just using the halo ring to create a hologram of the halo ring in a sort of control room style or map room kind of style of structure. That's the idea. I could also just take it and build a structure that's out there that's that looks like the Ark or something like that, and do that on a different map. But yeah, it would just be kind of cool to have like this Harry Potter style, like, you know, night sky in the dorm, I mean in the dining room kind of thing. You know what I mean? But this is 4, 5, 6. This is 6. I could have just done this. This is 6 water objects. Yeah, I'm deleting those. That's a bunch of effects. This, I think I might have, yeah, I think I saved this prefab off. No, I didn't. It would be named something if I did. Okay, I'm gonna save this off as assault on the control room, raised platform. Oh, nope. We'll just say raised room. Because this is a block out of one of those areas, especially whenever you come through and there's flood, you'll remember this kind of thing. Because you have to go up here and you'll fight flood and stuff like that. But also just like in general, that's you know, of course, 2 betrayals. But in Assault on the Control Room, they have a room that's like this, that has like the windows and the big wall there, and I just blocked this out to sort of throw it together for a future map instead of this one. This one is for something else very special that I'm going to work out, probably on the map that's going to be that Red Dead Redemption section of the world that I was just going to make. But yeah, okay, so trees animate in the wind, as you can see, and I wonder if trees also affect the effects budget. Let me look at my effects budget now. 129. It was 138. It's barely gone down at all. I have no idea what effect is the main culprits for this, but something is adding up pretty heavily. I do have this at this grav lift, and that one's fairly animated. It's got a light object that glows. It's got the and then it's got 2 different layers. It's got an animated, the wispy animation in the middle, and then it's got another like sort of ghost, like smoky animation around it, and like I said, a light object. These have a light object at the orb ends, and then they have the beam, and those are all different objects. So it might be those, because see, here's the thing, whenever these don't render, the middle beam turns off, right? But the orbs at the end don't. So like, here, I'll even show you what I'm talking about to really give you an idea. This beam might be my problem. They're very inefficient and weird, so this very well could be my problem. Here, we're going to delete this one and that one. We're going to bring it down to just 1 beam, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So you got the whole beam, and you turn to the left here, and the beam in the middle turns off, but that orb is still there, and that orb stays there. You know what I mean? I have no idea if that thing disappears. I don't think it does. Let me see. We can actually experiment that by scaling it all the way up and getting outside of it. So if we make the middle beam disappear... Oh wow, it takes a lot to do that. Yeah, so I guess what happens is whenever this orb gets off your screen, the middle beam disappears because it's part of the orb. Yeah, okay, so anyway, the other end may or may not disappear. I have no idea, but yeah. So yeah, it's probably the canvas. I'm gonna leave it like this and just not do too many more effects changes. I'll leave these man cannons like this, and if I end up needing to for effects to have like weapons on the map and vehicles and stuff like that properly, then I will then I'll make these animate to reduce the number of man cannons. And I will see about this being... Oh, hey, Mr. Greencastle. Oh, Mr. Greencastle, you might know the answer to this. Does Arid, because of its water, its animated water on the map, does it consume effects budget and make it to where, without actually changing maybe even the budget value, does it make it to where, like, that thing is animated and moving, right? If you get a little closer, it's a little more obvious. Does Arid consume it? Wait, so there are a couple of different effects that might accomplish the same thing. With the beam? Okay, I might be able to do that beam. Instead of those beams, do those if you got a different one. But, so that's an animated water effect, but it's not the ones we have in the game right now, and the ones we have in the game right now are super efficient. But this existed before those even existed, and might be a less efficient version. And if that's the case, then Arid as a map might break and consume your effect budget. Because you saw Overlook. Overlook is at 500 effect budget, and you saw all of those that I have. But on this map, I'm at 126, and effects are beginning to stop render. Are beginning to not render. And I don't know why. Overlook can handle 400, 500%. But this map can't. This map can only get to 138, and then it stopped rendering like some of these beams and stuff like that. Would just not render at all, or the man cannon would have no energy on it. It might be that I have too many man cannons, and I've just never done that before with, like, you know, I've got 8 man cannons on here right now. That could be it. In my experience, certain effects are heavier than others. I did have this lightning bolt, like the lightning strike that hits and goes, "Ghoh," and all that stuff over here, and I deleted that, and we don't seem to have the problem with the effects yet anymore now. But, so maybe that one was the problem. Okay, so you've got, okay, I need to catch up because I'm seeing half of y'all. So let me, scroll up. Okay, so PTSD Machine said, wait, so there are a couple different effects that might accomplish the same thing. There's a Forerunner Flare effect that is sort of the same thing, and it might not have the same disappearing effect as the Energy Flare thing. Oh, that's good. I'll try that. I'm not sure. I think it's minimal. If so, like, Myers has water built into it. But Myers has one giant water plane, and it's more translucent than the water on this one, so I'm wondering if maybe they work different, you know what I mean? So it might be that that one might affect it as well, but maybe not as heavily, I don't know. In my experience, certain effects are heavier than others. As far as the limit for effects muzzle flash, the limit for effects muzzle flash? Really? The ones that are particle heavy, swirls, and screen effects too. Screen effects seem to be the worst offender. Okay, so the lightning bolt is the one that, it was one of the ones that goes boom and makes your whole screen shake and stuff like that. Maybe that one was the one that was really causing a problem, because if it's like checking every player on the map to see if they're within a range and then going shake their screen if they are, then I can imagine that that definitely would have caused a problem. But yeah, in this muzzle flash and explosions from many weapons will cause effects to clip / be removed. Really? So like if the effect is there, if I hold down back so that these appear, like I could like shoot and these will like disappear sometimes if I use like a rocket, where they'll like temporarily despawn. That's crazy. Okay, so this is pretty yeah, I don't know. I'll have to figure out what I'm going to do with the effects if it ends up not working properly. But yeah, any gun for you and enemies you see and projectiles of all kinds. Gotcha. So I did place the vehicles whenever it stopped working, and that's what PTSD Machine was pointing out, is that they take up effects budget for the spawners for vehicles. But I imagine that they kind of don't affect it too badly, right? Surely they would put the separate budget for them so that you don't have a problem with running out of your main budget, right? But like, I don't know. Like they might track it in the effects budget visually in your menus, but surely they have it set up to where it doesn't actually affect your ability to place more effects, right? Might be the screen effects bubbles that you have. Yeah, I was thinking about that, because that's across the entire world. Is it a screen effect, or is it like around the player in an area? Because I have rain all the time in Waterworks, and that one doesn't do any, that one doesn't have a problem like this. And that one creates a sound effect, and Waterworks has like 400, 500, you know, effect. We figured out how to make the rain fall during custom games, by the way. It might be the screen effect bubbles that you have, cause issue maybe. It could be because the rain effect might just be different from this bubble effect. Like this bubble effect is a different one. So I say, well, I have the other one, but the heavy motes, maybe light motes, would be more like manageable. Like maybe less effective, maybe less of an effect on the budget, or something like that, or maybe just not have them at all. I liked them for weird, like, I don't know, I just felt like I liked them on this map. Maybe dust will work better. We'll do dust heavy and see how that looks. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't want to do rain, that's for sure. So I think the effect of the rain side being like that Like, it'll look like dust on the dust side, and it'll look kind of like snow on the snow side, so maybe the dust effect is the best one for this map anyway, but it's dust heavy right now, and I see nothing. Yeah, I don't know. Enable on, let's see, primary sound, reverb, exterior open. I don't have any effects, any sound effects on here. Anyway, the point is, this looks pretty cool. I don't know. I'll have to get into the other thing. By the way, this is a cup. Were you here for this? Were you the one who suggested I do this? Someone suggested I do this. It's like a... This is one of the disposable object cup things. I was talking about this on, what do you call it? Whenever, who was it who did that? And then Red Nomster and I were trying to guess what it was. He made like bars. Anyway, I'm just gonna delete that now. Okay. Let's see. You were. Yeah, I thought so. This thing is also gonna be really cool to grapple into because it'll probably break the game whenever you do. It'll be great. It'll be awesome. But it'll move slow enough that it may not actually be a problem. Whenever, let's see, the cup and the ankle cover. Yeah, that's what it was, yeah. Because on Waterworks, this pump, whoop, sorry. Before we put it into matchmaking, the reason I had to get rid of the pump shroud going up and down was because it was causing the game to break. You could, basically it was like, if you grapple shot it into it while it was dropping on you, you could clip through it because you'd impact it, but harder than the you know, collision boxes could handle. And then if you did that just right, at the right timing, you'd clip through the pump shroud, and then you'd still be inside the object, so it would just sort of ignore all collision at this point, and you would clip up through the ceiling of the map into the rocks, and then it would finally realize, oh hey, I've got a, you know, whenever you slowed down your movement and came to a stop from the grapple shot pole, it was like, oh yeah, I gotta check to see if you're inside of something, don't I? And they would just sort of end there, and you'd be stuck. It was really dumb. Let's see. Okay. So, what was I doing? Well, the effects are all sort of... They're sorted out for now. I really do think it might have been that lightning effect. But if it's not, it's the map, and that's going to be terrible. Let's go ahead and set up some respawn points, because once I get the respawn points set up... What's the difference between these two, by the way? I think he's got... I don't think he has anything different for these two. I think he's just got two because... he wants there to be one for potentially each team. I don't know. For while you're doing your playtesting or something. I have no idea. But basically, yeah. Okay. So I need to make some respawn points and the initial spawn points correct, and I need to bake the bots. And I think at that point it will be pretty much done for playtesting. Oh, I need to place weapons. Duh. But I'll be able to do Fiesta because I have the vehicles on the map already. I don't have the mongoose, and these things are still weird. These are not necessary. Oh, that could be another thing. You know what? These may count to my effects budget. Hold on. My effects budget just went down. Vehicles without a spawn pad might affect your budget worse than vehicles on a spawn pad because of just the way that they spawn in and the way that they exist in the map. That would be interesting. Instead of using a classic spawn and setting it to a vehicle, I actually had the vehicle itself placed. So yeah, for that pump thing and the grapple problem, an alternative fix is to make it non-grappleable using projectile blockers. Just an idea for the future that works. Oh my god, that would have solved that bug. Oh my god, I could have just put the Do you know what this means, though, right? That means I could potentially add it back in to the matchmaking one, because it was causing a network issue during our playtesting, where in the middle of the map it would lag, but then it turned out that wasn't caused by that, because it still kept on happening after I got rid of the pump shroud, which means it ended up, I think that means that it would end up being the effects that I had at the bottom of the map, the energy barriers that were simulating water. Yeah, my reaction. Yeah, exactly. Oh my god. That's amazing. I should do that, and then I'll have the pump shroud back. Oh, because I would just move it with the pump shroud, right? And I could do a new script for the pump shroud that's way simpler, too. Because the original script was crazy. Oh, man. well, I am gonna have to go do that at some point. And maybe get that back into, maybe get the moving pump shroud into matchmaking, which would be amazing. But I have no idea if that's going to cause network issues for people, so I'll still have to get it play tested. Anyway, I'll have to let 343 know. They'll try to integrate it, and they'll put it through some play testing and stuff like that to see if it actually works. But that's insane. Let me make sure this doesn't stop you from running on it. It's a little bit. I might need to fix that a little bit, but yeah. Okay, alright. Well, that's awesome. Guess what? It's actually also time for me to get off, so I'm gonna have to catch you guys later. But yeah, so we did a lot today, including scripting this to work, and not just work, but it works in custom games where the rain moves with, the water moves with the thing, which was a bug we just found out about yesterday. And we've got all these, and we had an effects problem, which was also solved, and we sorted out, started on spawn points and stuff like that, which I'll probably do off stream or something like that, either today or tomorrow, while my daughter is doing schoolwork or something, like tomorrow morning or something. But anyway, so yes, that's awesome, mind-blowing, and Waterworks might get an update because of that. I will catch you guys later.